What's going on, champions? It's your girl, Megan Savage. And if you've stumbled across this video, you are looking to get started in the world of investing and trading. So I'm going to teach you guys all the fundamentals of what you need to know in order to get started trading in the foreign exchange market. So let's get started on the very first video, which is what is Forex. $6.6 trillion is traded in the foreign exchange market every single day. Without overcomplicating it, I'm going to explain exactly what it is. If you've ever traveled from one country to another, you've participated in the foreign exchange market. I'm from Canada, so I have the Canadian dollar. And when I want to go over to the States, I have to trade my Canadian dollar into the US dollar. That is me participating in the foreign exchange market. The exchange rate between countries is fluctuating every single day. So sometimes people wait to travel to certain places until the exchange rate is in their favor. Something that you may or may not know is your money that is sitting in the bank depreciating is actually making the banks billions of dollars a quarter. Those papers and forms that you sign when creating your bank account is actually giving them legal right to trade your money in the foreign exchange market while they're making billions and you're making pennies. So I'm really glad you're getting started in your trading journey because you are going to cut out the middleman, and instead of them making money off your money, you are going to make money off your money. Let's talk about what's mainly traded in the foreign exchange market. In Forex, when I'm talking about major pairs, I'm talking about the currencies that are being traded most in the world. These include the following: Euro USD, GBP USD, which is the pound versus the US dollar, USD JPY, which is the Japanese yen, USD CHF, which is the US dollar versus the Swiss franc, USD CAD, which is USD versus Canadian dollar, AUD versus USD, which is the Australian dollar versus the US, NZD versus USD, which is the New Zealand dollar. Now, if you notice, the common trait between all these pairs is all of them have the US dollar. Not every pair that has the US dollar is a major pair, but these pairs are. 90% of traders are trading these pairs in the foreign exchange market. This means that the most volume in the market comes from these pairs, which is why I would suggest trading these pairs. Because with more volume equals more opportunities to make money. Next, we're going to dissect on what a currency pair actually is. We're going to use USD CAD in this example. The reason why it's called a Forex pair is because obviously there's a pair. Two different currencies that we're dealing with. The first one is called the base, and the second one is called the quote. The current exchange rate that I'm looking at is 1.41. This means for every dollar US, you get 1.41 Canadian. In case you didn't know, that actually sucks. What this is actually telling me is that the Canadian economy is actually not doing too well. I'm gonna break this down. For example, let's say the US dollar is worth 3 cookies and the Canadian dollar is also worth 3 cookies. So it's 3 to 3, or in other words, it's 1 to 1. The reason I write this down this way is because it's actually a ratio. And there's different things that affect this ratio: unemployment, inflation, GDP, interest rates, big news events, and even things that are said by our political leaders. So choose wisely. For example, let's just say that the President of the United States does something extremely stupid and he costs the US economy 1 cookie. Now, instead of 3 to 3, it is now 2 to 3. In the real world, we know that the exchange rate right now is 1.41, but in this example, it's 1 to 1, which also technically means 1.0. 1 US dollar equaled 1 Canadian dollar. But now, since we lost one of the cookies, it throws the ratio out of whack. Now, if you do 2 divided by 3, you actually get 0.66. We went from them actually equaling out to each other to now 1 US dollar equals 66 Canadian cents. Now let's look at a different example. Let's say the Canadian Prime Minister says something stupid. He lost 2 cookies. Now the ratio is 2 to 1. Before, even though the Canadian dollar was worth so much, now in this example, 1 US dollar is worth 2 Canadian dollars. Why? Because the exchange rate is 2.00. We never want this to happen. Now, obviously, when you're dealing with a billion cookies, there's microscopic changes that are happening to the exchange rate every second of every day. Being able to take advantage of those changes is how you are going to make money in the foreign exchange market. Now that you understand how exchange rate works, currencies aren't the only thing you can trade in the foreign exchange market. You can trade crypto, stocks, indices, commonly known as ETFs, and metals. These are just a few of the things you can trade. You can even trade coffee beans or even the gasoline that you use every single day. There's not a lot you can't trade. How you trade all of these is a little bit different, but you understand the gist. Now that is your introduction into the foreign exchange market. The next video, we're going to go over how to calculate pips.